Imagine an African country founded by people from America, a country where former slaves returned to Africa to build a new nation. This is the complex and fascinating story of Liberia. Before Liberia existed as a country, the region was already home to many African societies. These communities had their own system of leadership, culture, and trade. Villages were organized and connected through local trade networks. Fishing, farming, and craftsmanship shaped everyday life. For generations, these communities lived and governed themselves long before the arrival of outsiders. In the early 1800s, a group in the United States had a controversial idea. The organization was called the American Colonization Society. Their plan was to send freed African American slaves back to Africa. Some members believed freed slaves will have better opportunities there. Others supported the idea because they didn't want free black communities in America. In 1822, the first settlers arrived on the coast of West Africa. They established a small settlement that would later grow into Liberia. Over time, more free slaves arrived from the United States. These settlers became known as American Liberians. They created a new society that reflected American influence. The capital city was named Monrovia after US President James Monroe. The flag of Liberia even resembles American flag. In 1874, Liberia officially declared independence. It became one of the first republics in Africa. Although Liberia was independent, society quickly became divided. The American Liberians controlled the government and political power, but the indigenous African communities made up the majority of the population. For many years, political power remained in the hands of the American Liberia's elite. Indigenous groups often had a little representation in the government. This imbalance created tension that would later affect the country's stability. For more than a century, Liberia was largely controlled by American Liberian leadership. One of the dominant political organizations was the True Whig Party. The party controlled the government for over 100 years. During this time, Liberia maintained strong relationships with the United States. American companies also play a role in the economy. For example, the Firestone Rubber Company established major plantations in Liberia in the 1920s. Rubber production became one of the country's key industries. In 1980, Liberia experienced a dramatic turning point. A military officer named Samuel Doe led a coup against the government. The president at the time, William Tolbert, was killed. For the first time in Liberia's history, political power shifted away from the American Liberian elite. Samuel Doe became the new leader, but his rule soon faced criticism and growing unrest. By the late 1980s, tension exploded into civil war. In 1989, a rebel leader named Charles Taylor launched an armed rebellion. The conflict quickly spread across the country. The civil war lasted for years and caused immense suffering. Hundreds of thousands of people were killed and displaced. Liberia's infrastructure and economy were heavily damaged. After years of conflict, Liberia slowly began rebuilding. In 2005, the country made history by electing Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. She became the first elected female president in Africa. Her leadership focused on rebuilding institutions and restoring stability. Today, Liberia continues to recover and develop. Cities are growing, schools are reopening, and communities are rebuilding their lives. Liberia's story is unlike any other in Africa, a nation founded by freed slaves from America. a society shaped by both African tradition and American influence, a country that has faced conflict but continued to rebuild. The story of Liberia is one of the complexity, resilience, and hope.